through. Oh, brilliant. Okay. Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Emma Smith from Hotel Res. Hope you're okay. Just waiting for everybody just to drop in now to join us for today's session. So we'll kick start in a couple of minutes. We're set to go at 2, so should be good. And just make sure that we can mute the lines so that we don't get any background noise. So I'll stay on until here. My colleague Francesca is also on the line just now from Hotel Res. So welcome to you all. Monday again.
Hi,
End of the month. Not sure what national day it is today, but last week it was National Cocktail Day. So perhaps we should have a little Google, Fran, while we're waiting and see what it is today. See what exciting fact we can bring forward that's nothing to do with what we're talking about at all. Hope everybody's had a good weekend. The weather's been super lovely over here in Derbyshire, where I live. It's been very nice. And I hope it's been nice where you are as well. See lots of people joining this call today, which is great. Thank you so much for giving up a little bit of time on a Monday. I know it's busy for everybody, so it's just great. So we'll kick off in about a minute's time. Probably Fran will be making sure everybody can get inside once we go live. Some of this, if you've been on my presentations before, some of this might feel very familiar to you. But what I wanted to do was just refresh a little and update you on some of the key points that are happening right now and some key factors that I think you should be considering. With busy times, right? There's lots going on in the next few months for all of us. So it's all about getting prepared. So we'll just give it another minute maybe to see if we get any further admissions.
Can't seem to find anything about a specific day today, but apparently the Eiffel Tower was built on March the 31st, so there you go.
Top tip. Well, that's good to know.
Good for a pub quiz, maybe.
Actually, really good for a pub quiz. If anyone's out tonight, that question might come up. Kudos to the Hotel Res team there for giving you the answers. That's a brilliant fact. Well done. Right then. Okay, so I think we'll probably get started. We've got quite a good number of everybody joining us today. And just wanted to say a big hello to everyone. Just to say hi to our regular customers. Thanks for joining us. And if there's anybody new to the webinars, then welcome on board. There's quite a lot of content coming up from us in the coming weeks and months. So feel free to jump on all the ones that are relevant for you in your business. Some things we're talking about might not be quite fitted for you, but it's always good to understand what's going on. And you don't need me to tell you what a changing environment we all work in, because that's the very nature of what we do, isn't it? So without further ado, let me pop up my presentation and hopefully you'll be able to see my screen.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Fabulous. So welcome to today's webinar. My name's Emma and I'm the Global Director of Sales here at Hotel Res. If you haven't spoken to you before, then a big warm welcome to you, and thanks for giving us your time this afternoon. The very focus of today's call is all about maximising the sales and revenue opportunities throughout the 2025 and 2026 RFP season. The reports at the moment are expecting a buoyant year again for 2026 on bids. And I think it's all about getting organised ahead of time and really just getting back to basics with some of the core tasks that really help you in winning some market share. So that's what we're going to talk about today. There is a Q&A. So if you do have any questions, I'll get my question master, Fran. She can look after that for us. But just in case you haven't met us before, then please have a quick look at these wonderful photos of us. We are an award-winning global sales team, which is amazing fact of the day for you to know. If you didn't know, we did recently win an award for all of our RFP work. So you are in really good hands with us. So I'm Global Director of Sales. I look after sales. I've got a fairly big team. I don't just work with Fran and Hannah. I look after all of our global sales function as well across brands. So I'm talking to lots of people worldwide now. And of course, the girls very much run the RFP side on my behalf. And as a team of three of us, we're all involved, all three of us. So Hannah, you'll find, is very much on the coordination side. She will be your first line support for anything C-Vent. Fran looks after an awful lot of the Partner Connect events that we do, where we connect you with agencies and give you the opportunity to go out and meet clients, meet your agency partners. So Fran's a great contact for you to have as well. So just running through today's agenda then, 2025 RFP season. It was a very successful season, so we're just going to go back before we go forwards. GDS and its importance, which is always a good reminder as to why it's great that you're on there. And accepted RFPs, we're just going to have a little talk about the acceptances, what's important, and the next steps around your sales actions to support accepted RFPs and really maximize your sales. I'm going to talk about a checklist guide that's really useful for rate loading, and also what to do with those rejections or declined bids that you get, and why they're still quite important. The actions around driving more corporate sales, of course, because we all want a bit more, don't we? If I'd got you all on mute, off mute, you'd all be saying yes. Business case examples. So we talk about how to pitch for more, and also just understanding, what's important within your own market. Everybody's markets are very different at Hotel Res, and we go from, German cities to North American cities right through to UK cities as well. So everybody's markets are different. And then, of course, ways to contact Hotel Res, which is, of course, very important. So 2025 was a very buoyant season, and you will see on here some big names. So City Football, Five Guys, Deloitte, Tesla, Pernod Ricard, McKesson, Novartis, Google, Under Armour, Lendlease, Tesco, Uber. There are many, many clients now that some are existing large corporates and some worldwide and global corporates that are still doing their RFP work through the tools available to you when doing an RFP. And it's great to see that there are so many new businesses starting to use the tools. I mean, Uber's a fairly new company. Under Armour, that was a new one we had. Shopify was new. Quite a lot of these were new. Thames Valley Police was new. Yeah, so you can have Five Guys, that was of course new, in City Football. So there are ones that are coming through that we hadn't seen before, and it's interesting to see the change. For me, I always like to look at the logos. I think being in sales is more visual anyway, but also just quite like to see which ones have come through. So we do a lot of analysis internally at Hotel Res on new to market RFPs. So if you want to know what's new in your market, there are some things that you can come and ask for from our team. But I think it's important to remind you that, the GDS isn't going away. And whilst we're seeing lots of new ways that travel agencies are connecting and making business and doing bookings with their online tools, there are behind the scenes, the GDS connectivity is still a huge part of that connection and that drive on bookings coming in. So it's super important, obviously, with your properties, you're all GDS connected through Hotel Res, and that is connecting you to over 650,000 travel agencies worldwide that all book through that corporate and leisure sector. And we're seeing as well some more pivoting with agencies offering a more luxury leisure style offering to their corporates. So everybody's from pivoting back in the COVID days has really started to think about how they can distribute and reach out to more markets. So the GDS is most certainly not going away, and it created over 68 million bookings in 2023. That wasn't that long ago, and that was post-COVID. So it just makes you see that we've got to be in it to win it, and thank goodness you guys are. So we connect you on all 4 of those GDS channels. So you've got the Galileo, Travelport access points, and then you've got Amadeus and Sabre. And if you don't know, then Sabre generally tends to deliver you more of that North American market business. Travelport, WorldSpan and Galileo tend to be a bit more generic and also more UK focused. And Amadeus is very much a growing GDS, and they've always been more predominant in the European markets. So I thought it was quite an important point to talk to you about RFP tools now, because the tools that are on the market, we always talk to you about Cvent when we see you. But behind the scenes, there are an awful lot of other RFP tools that are in the marketplace, and we receive bids from them. So I thought it was quite important today just to touch on that, because we really are experts behind the scenes. We can deal with all of the RFP tools that you see on the slide just here. So we've got Rate Finding, Clarity Intel, HRS, Vindo, ReadyBid, and that's just a snapshot of different RFP tools that are in the market. What's really, really good is that we utilize Cvent, and Cvent is the biggest gateway to the majority of the corporate RFPs that are out there in the marketplace. But because of the connection we have through Cvent and our negotiations, we are able to actually build RFPs that come in from these other tools on this other side of the screen on the other tools slide. So we behind the scenes are able to facilitate most RFPs for you and repurpose them and rebuild them into the one platform of Cvent. So you've got one central place for all of your RFPs, which is super important and useful for when you're tracking year on year, because the years just fly by, don't they? Especially in our jobs. You know, you go through one season and before you know it, you're rate loading and we're already in April tomorrow. It's just, it goes so quick. So I think it's important, an important reminder to say, if you do receive an RFP bid through a different source that's not Cvent or something that we've even sent out to you, just send it across to us in the demand team and we'll have a quick look at it for you. And 99% of the time, we'll be able to centralize that into your Cvent platform. So you've only got one place and no faffing around. You can just go in and complete your bids there. So maximising revenue from an accepted RFP is obviously a crucial part. I think there's so much, I mean, I talk to a lot of our customers, as you all know, and I think one of the things that's most buoyant for me is that people tend to want to really try really hard to get on corporate RFPs. And it feels sometimes that all the effort and hard work is done at the first steps in making that bid opportunity come to fruition. That's just one part of it. So I wanted to talk today about how to maximise sales once you're accepted on a bid. And I think there's some careful, clever steps you can do in order to really make sure that you're fully getting your market share. The first one would be to check that the rate is loaded and mapped correctly within your own PMS. You know that with RFPs, Hotel Res will carry out the rate loading function within the GDS setup. But of course, that's fine, but you need to make sure that it's mapped correctly on your own PMS as well. Otherwise, your bookings are just not going to show up. So that's it sounds so basic, doesn't it? But honestly, that's the key thing, to make sure everything's loaded up correctly and mapped. Find out from your contacts on the ground or from the people that are coming through the property which location that corporate account is based in, and try and understand how big it is, because you might find that it is not just a local account for you, but it might have national and global opportunity. And it might be that it's affiliated to another company that's wearing much more of a global hat. And sometimes that part of understanding that corporate customer can be so useful, but not only just for pitching for other business, but also just understanding what their capacity is to grow. So emailing also a quick thank you for the acceptance, or making an in-person meeting happen where you can. I think it's really nice to be personable. And we all know that obviously, you know, the last few years, things are getting back on track now and people want to talk to us all a bit more. So I think it's really nice if you can make an in-person connection with somebody, and you're not just another hotel on program. You are actually interested in doing more business with them and understanding what their business is about. And that in turn can then help you to look for the further opportunities within that particular account. Always remember to recap what's included in the rate package, because very often you've done the deal through the travel agency or the travel manager, but that doesn't affect them because they're not the person that's traveling, right? So that's going to be that conversation you can have with the end user or with the key booker that's coming through with the enquiries that you know you're getting the bookings from. So just making sure that they know what's included in that rate package. So complimentary Wi-Fi, use of the leisure club, free parking if you have parking that's not chargeable. Whatever your deal is, just don't assume people know. Make sure that you tell them. With the reports that Hotel Res have on offer, we have an awful lot of different styles of reporting that you can have. So there's travel agent production reports, you can track it from travel agents. There are production reports that you can have which are identified for corporate clients as well. So you can really start to underpin that productivity on that particular RFP that you've worked so hard to get. It might be that there's a couple of months in the year where you might see a dip in the business or a spike in the business. And that's where if you've got those personal relationships, you can pick up the phone or just check in with your client and just find out what's happening within their business at the moment. I think getting to know your own customers and what their business landscape is super important because that's going to help you really fully understand what the scope is when you're winning a piece of business. And also you can sell on your F&B and you can also sell on your event space and meeting space, Christmas parties, dinners, and everything else in between. It might be your golden opportunity as well to look for opportunity for, if you're a group property, other business within your group that you could obtain and understand from that key client. So sometimes it's worth just taking a moment to get to know them. Cross-sell opportunities are just super important, aren't they? Because it helps you keep everything within your brand at the forefront of that client's mind. And surely if they've experienced a great stay with you and you have a sister property that you could be offering, maybe it's not in the same location, perhaps it's in London or somewhere else. It's really good because they've then kind of got an understanding of what your current packages are, what you can do, and the style, understand the standard and the style of property you are. And that can then be transferred across to other ad hoc business they may have. And in time, that can create further opportunity of RFP. So adding corporates also to your hotel mailing lists, I think it's important now to understand, and I hate this word pleasure, but you know, we all mention it when we're talking. And we've got to acknowledge the fact that the travellers of today are a little bit more open to staying out in, you know, in different types of properties for their own personal use and adding on extra day stays to their corporate bookings. So let's take advantage of that, right? Let's let them know that they can be added to that mailing list and that, you know, you can offer a super discount if on their next day they want to extend and have an extra night or two with you for their own personal use. I think it's really important. So they're just like, well, around about 10 top takeaways from me, just to make sure you're really maximising from your current RFPs. I've actually included here a checklist to a successful rate loading procedure. So just some top tips. So Hotel Res must load your rates onto the GDS on your behalf. You can't do it. You don't have access to it. So we need to make sure we're doing that for you. My golden rule really is if in doubt and you're not sure if something does need to be loaded and you've been sent some instructions and it's all a bit crazy, you're not sure what to do. We have a team of experts within the demand team and also within the rates loading teams, and we will be able to look at that information and in a heartbeat let you know whether that's something that we actually need from you in order to load that rate. If you do secure a rate directly, because we are aware that sometimes a deal can happen, it doesn't necessarily come through a corporate RFP. It might be a local agreement you've had that's then, I don't know, kind of evolved into something bigger. Just that reminder then to send in any rate loading instruction, doesn't matter if it's CVent or not, directly into the rates loading team. And they will ask you to complete a form which will just take all that rate criteria into consideration. So things like, does the rate include VAT, parking, free Wi-Fi, free breakfast, etc. Start and end dates, you know, if there's a supplement on on a bigger room type, that kind of question. And the mapping of all confirmed rates is a property's responsibility. So if it isn't mapped at your property, that's really down to you guys to double check. It is so important that you complete that step with your revenue teams because you'll have worked so hard to get this RFP over the line. The last thing you need is for it to not be bookable. So that leads me into rejections and declines. If you're rejecting a bid, it's because you don't want to be on it for one reason or another. And it might be that it doesn't quite fit your model at this moment in time, but things can happen at hotels and things can change and revenue streams can change rapidly. Something in the market might change that then might make you and your team have to pivot and look for other alternative routes to market to make the sales line more profitable again. So if you do reject yourself off something and you think, oh, that's a bit below rate for us, it's not something we're interested in at the moment, it might be a different picture in 6 months' time. So by having all of those RFPs centralized in Cvent, you'll be very easy for you to put your hands on some bids that potentially you turned away 6 months ago because it didn't quite fit your strategy. So just go and revisit those declined and rejected bids every now and again, particularly if your sales budgets are changing. I think when that pressure is on, and I've been there in my old sales jobs where, all of a sudden we've got to go and be creative and find something again. It's really good just to go and revisit things that you turned away because it didn't quite fit. So if you do want to reopen an opportunity back up, please contact Demand and we will speak with the RFP teams and see if we can get the RFP reopened. I think sometimes as well, it's worth noting that properties that get accepted onto a bid, not necessarily if you've been declined or you rejected it, and then, perhaps a key competitor property was put on that RFP, but you've found out through all of your networking that that property is not really making the grade at the moment. There really could be an opportunity to go back and revisit. So I would say nothing's ever dead in the water, but but that's from one salesperson to another, right? It's always there bobbing along in the background. If you do get declined, if somebody said to you that they don't want your property on the RFP, they usually generally when they decline it give you a reason for the decline, so you can understand if it was rate or terms or perhaps something else. Maybe the location wasn't productive enough. So it's worth actually just understanding and asking a couple of questions, especially if it was one with a really big opportunity, just to see if there's anything you can go back and revisit. We found on a recent chat we had with some of our industry colleagues that the average length of time, including RFP renegotiations, from a bid to convert to either accepted or declined, takes on average over 70 days. So it's a long process. It's never quick. And in between all of that, there's some going backwards and forwards. So really, honestly, my advice is try and do your first round bid, as competitively as you can, but really do take on board what the negotiation pointers are, because that could be the defining point of whether you do get on a bid or not. So I think it's good to do the investigating work yourself, just to understand if one of your key competitors remained on program, or if you did or they didn't, or how that's kind of fitting together. Retaining contact with RFP managers regardless. You don't know. And I think that's probably, having been at Hotel Res for as long as I have, that's one of my biggest learnings, is that even if they aren't the direct RFP manager for a certain account, and you are dealing with an agent, they can be moved onto different accounts. And so it's really good to know to keep that person in the loop with you, so that you are aware if they're having a move of different departments. Perhaps they've been working with a couple of other clients and they're not just on one account anymore. Relationships count for everything in this game. So I would absolutely be retaining contact with RFP managers. That thank you to say, thanks so much for putting my property on that RFP. We'll work really hard to make sure we look after your business, is a really nice little opener. And then from there, you can add to LinkedIn and, start to work the account a little bit more strategically. Track all your off-program room nights as well, because it could be that you're getting some business because perhaps a key property that was on the bid is now not doing so great with having availability for that client, and it could be that their agency's having to source extra properties that are off program at the minute, and that really helps you to create a very strong business case and an opportunity to talk about your offer again to that customer. And just remember that not all else is lost. So if you have a number of rejections and declines from RFPs, do speak to the Hotel Res account management team, because they have numerous opportunities available to help you grow revenue, such as the Channel Connect opportunities, of which we've got a number of these in the market now, and more to come. And we have an awful lot of new business through our chain-wide agreements, and you can get a copy of those on the member portal in the preferred partner guide. Just if you haven't downloaded that for a while, there's a whole new stream of revenue there that we've created for you. And don't forget about the niche marketing as well, because that's a great way of enhancing some package rates and doing something creative there. Might be a good consideration, particularly if the RFPs for you have not been so buoyant this year. There's always a way, right? So actions for driving some more corporate sales then, from my kind of back pocket to you. I think absolutely don't assume anybody knows what you've got. So attract business travellers with your services: free Wi-Fi, gym, large desks, shuttle services for easy transportation, safe for laptop space, adequate power outlets, healthy catering. Things that you do well, so ensuring that your hotel information is up to date in Res Market. We'll be doing some sessions on content update and best practice in the coming weeks. We've got quite a lot of things happening over here in the demand team in the coming few months, so you will be hearing a lot more from us on webinars. Go back historically, did everything come in? Because I think that's it's so interesting that we're always targeted on finding more, but actually, has everybody come back through the door that was here this time last year? Is there anybody missing from your rate production report that you just haven't seen come back? And it might be that it was a project that's ended now and the business isn't there anymore, or it might be that somebody's dropped off and you just need to go and make friends with them again and get them to come back. So prospecting your local market for new leads. So what's new to market in your area? Please do take a drive around your industrial estates or check out your local media. Understand from your local council contacts what's new and coming up for the area. Could create some new construction business and all sorts of leads in for you. Market leads is a tool which Cvent offer for helping generate new corporate demand. And there is a really good rate on acquiring market leads for your area. If you're interested, please speak to your account manager. The market leads tool at Cvent is really good because it gives the RFP manager the opportunity to actually search out properties within a certain vicinity of their site. So it might be that they're looking for properties in Leeds, for example. And if you're a property in Leeds and you've signed up to market leads, then it may be that your property is contacted to put in a prospective first round bid. It's an unsolicited bid tool. It's really useful and it does produce for clients, particularly in big markets. So all your key major cities. I wouldn't say it's quite so buoyant for a provincial location, if I'm honest. But I think if you're in a secondary city or a key city, a major city, then it's definitely worth a look into. Check with us as well, because obviously in coming into the team, I showed you on like the first slide we looked at was all the new leads that were coming through, and there could be something there that you haven't considered before. So it might be that there's some demand in your market. When you get the reports from us now, you'll see that we've added in things like the industry sector, because what we found through talking to a lot of our properties was that they were getting a lot of the same style of business. So it might be that construction or manufacturing is a key sector for you, and it might be that there's more of that sector taking on RFPs and doing that RFP piece in order to pitch for some new properties to join their bids. So have a look, and you can ask for any data. So contact my team and we will make sure you've got that. So we've got a toolkit that's dedicated for helping you put forward your property in a business case scenario. So what we wanted to do was give you a downloadable guide, which you can get from the member portal. And you can complete these business cases for targeting new corporate accounts. All you do is populate it by entering your own codes here, and also what your hotel address details are, name, and actually what target account is that you're trying to identify and actually pick up with, and where it's located. So it could be just 5 minutes walk from the headquarters. nearest tubes, etc., car parking, and your sustainability piece, which of course is super important to corporates. And then the current room nights and any forecasted room nights that going into the marketplace, you're getting a smidgen of the business. And yes, please, you'd like to be given a bit more. So for the offer, on the offer from you is a from rate. I believe in from rates. I think it gives you a kick-off point. And then room types. So what types of rooms you've got, and then what you put in those rooms, what's complementary, what you can do for the client, and then any other notes. It might be that you've got a day delegate rate that you want to advertise, or we put an example there of an upcoming event the property was doing. So there's two guides. This is an individual property one, or you can use a spreadsheet version, which will give you opportunity to put forward 2 or 3 or 4 of your own properties in one file swoop. So it could be that you've identified that there's one client. Oh my gosh, it's got opportunity in 4 locations where you've got properties. Let's do a group bid. And here we go. You can do a group business case on this example. So I mentioned that I'd give you an update on where and how to contact Hotel Res. So there are various departments, and as you know, if you've visited our Newark office, you'll know our support teams and rates loading and CRO are all in one team. The accounts team is a side team, and they deal with all our finance, demand and RFPs. We're all remote, but we do go to the office occasionally. And the marketing and PR team are a dedicated team who will help you raise and level up your profile of your property. I must say, we've got an amazing marketing team. All our teams are amazing, of course, but marketing in particular can really help you if you've got some newsworthy pieces of information and you really want to get that out into the social platforms and out into the travel agency community. We can help you with that. Rates loaded, we mentioned earlier, and support. So if you do get stuck on anything and want some technical support, just contact the team. Rates loading is that dedicated team that will look after all rates loading. Yeah, and here we go. I told you we were an award-winning team, so I just wanted to share this cute picture, which is us picking up an award for Corporate Travel Business Champions of the Year. Please reach out to us. We are experts at what we do, so it was great for us to get this win. We've worked really hard in the team, and we really pride ourselves on trying to support as many of you as possible in your quest to drive more bids. So I've stopped sharing now. Absolutely wonderful for you to join us. We appreciate it. If you do have any dedicated questions, you can use the Q&A box, chat box. And of course, we'll answer any burning questions that you might have. So let's have a quick look. So we don't think we've got anything quite at the minute, but that's okay. That must mean that everything was understood. A couple of thank yous coming in, so thanks if you've sent a thank you. You don't have to, but thank you so much. That's lovely. If you'd like a copy of the presentation, just email through to the demand team and we'll get that across to you. And well, that's about half an hour you've had with me. So I hope that's given you some food for thought. Just before I let you go, let me tell you that we've got some fabulous webinars coming up. We've got some eco-smart ones. I think there's one tomorrow on that. So if you're interested in learning more about sustainability, do reach out and join on that one. Also for us, there's going to be some pre-season work that we do before we move into 2026. Can't even believe I'm saying it. But we're on the cusp of switching into a new season here, so we will be doing some webinars with our CVent team. So these would be fantastic for you to join, and absolutely not a problem at all. I think it's so good that they want to enlighten us all with their findings on RFPs. And I thought it'd be really interesting and detailed. I'm such an RFP geek, and I know all my team are as well. So we don't want to keep it all with us. We want to make sure you get to know all of this juicy information as well. So we will let you know when that is, and feel free to join us on the next rounds. There's so much coming up for you in this season, so roll up your sleeves, jump in and see what you can do to be creative for your properties and your group in this new RFP season that's looming. So that's been me. I always wanted to get a job on QVC, maybe one day. I think I'll be all right at it. But anyway, it's good to see you all, and it's really great to catch up, and you are all wonderful. We will see you soon. And thanks very much for all your comments and thank yous. It's much appreciated. We'll absolutely get all of the information sent across to you if you would like a copy. So I will sign off. Wish you a wonderful Monday, rest of the week. It's April tomorrow. And don't forget the top fact about the Eiffel Tower, because if you're on a pub quiz this week, you just might need it.
You never know.
I mean, you don't know.
You never know.
I think it's brilliant. All right then, so let's get the session ended, and thank you guys. It was absolutely wonderful for you to join us today. We'll see you soon. All right, take care.